Voss's Closet, yo.
All right, Voss's Closet begins officially.
Are the hosts of New Rockstars shills for studios like Disney, Warner Brothers, Universal,
We good, chat?
Amazon, Sony, Netflix? Or are they even capable of applying their own independent, unbiased perspectives to the reviews and breakdowns and analyses they do of things? Are we in the pocket of the mouse?
Absolutely, yes. Okay, audio is good.
Welcome to New Rockstars' new podcast called The Danger Room. I am host and head of content of New Rockstars, Erik Voss, here with New Rockstars head of production, John Costo. Welcome, John.
Just peeking my little head out of the pocket of...
You're peeking your little head out of Voss's. God, this Voss's Closet meme writes itself, chat. Am I right? Just peeking his head out, just like that. There's Erik. There's Erik. That was his name, right? There's Erik right there to the left of Voss. Or what was his name? John. That was the name.
I am host and head of content of New Rockstars, Erik Voss, here with New Rockstars head of production, John Costo. Welcome, John.
Just peeking my little head out of the pocket of the mouse to do...
Yeah, just peeking your head out of Voss's Closet there on the left, bro. What was this guy's name again? All right, we got to find this guy. I got to find this guy for you guys. So we put a face to the other effeminate voice here.
I am host and head of content of New Rockstars, Erik Voss, here with New Rockstars head of production, John Costo. Welcome, John.
John Costo. Okay, let me look this clown up for you guys. Give me a second. Let's put a name to or a face to the voice. John Costo, New Rockstars. There he is, chat. There he is. Hang on. Let me here. I'll pull the image up here. I'm gonna put it up this way so it's easier. Give me 2 seconds. Are you kidding me? God damn it. Hang on. I gotta do a screen copy. There he is. There's John. Look at those teeth. God, you work for the New Rockstars, man. I think you could probably afford braces. John Costo of the New Rockstars. I think you could afford braces, bro.
Just peeking my little head out of the pocket of the mouse to do this podcast.
Yeah, John just spit out a couple gold coins like Scrooge McDuck over there.
Yeah, I better not talk shit on this guy. I mean, this guy could definitely kick my ass, chat. What do you think? You think this guy could kick my ass? I better watch what I say about these two guys, because these shills are getting a little feisty at the moment.
This is a lightly edited show. I don't think we're going to have coin sound effects coming in.
So what you are listening to right now is a new audio-only podcast called The Danger Room. There is no video footage of this that exists. We do not want you to see where we are. It is so secretive. Why? Because it is in a dark corner of the New Rockstars network called...
It's in Voss's closet. It's in Voss's closet, and he didn't want to have the cameras on for this episode of Voss's Closet, chat. It was in Voss's closet. I'm telling you, this meme writes itself.
Called New Rockstars Underground. New Rockstars Underground is...
No, New Rockstars in the Closet is what this segment needs to be called, Voss. Come on. You can even hire me. Voss, you could hire me as your fucking as your editor or as your showrunner, and I could turn you guys around. I could show you guys the light. I could show you guys the light. Imagine the New Rockstars with the New Rockstars rebrand under the Mr. Grizzy and the Gatekeepers Alliance vision. We would be taking over. Of course, that would never in a million years happen. Anyway.
The new audio-only subscription service that we're offering to our viewers that is a paid service. So what you're listening to right now, we are also making it free to all of our viewers, publicly on all of our podcast feeds.
So here you go. They are making money. This is a paid service. They are making money off of bonus content, a lot of which they get from early access. They're going to be doing podcast episodes on their early access and interviews probably with people and all of that bullshit. And here they are making more money off of it.
So you can just hear this now without having to buy into it. But if you want to hear future episodes of it, we're going to be asking for a small monthly fee of $5 a month. That might not be small.
Voss, you really fucked up big time by making this the free. I don't know if I would have paid for this, but he fucked up in making this the one free episode of the podcast that they uploaded.
For all of you, we recognize that. And we understand that this is kind of a new thing that like edit us to say things that we're not actually saying.
Oh, here we go. Here the coping, and I got we got the lie detector.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
And also, due to Soy Gendareu's meltdown yesterday, I also have the I don't know, what are we going to call this? The coping and seethe detector? I don't know. But after Soy's meltdown yesterday, we have the cope and seethe detector.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething.
I guarantee that's when he that was the part of the video that he fucking lost it and then cried in the comments and on X about it. But that was the moment right there. The cope scope. I like that. Good shit. All right, let's get back to, why did my Voss screen go away? Let's get back to Vossy.
Soapbox stuff that like we don't want to bore everyone on YouTube with. It's the stuff that the YouTube algorithm doesn't really know what to do with. It's maybe too personality content. It's stuff that like we're a little nervous putting publicly out on YouTube, where any of our enemies are going to take us out of context and try to like edit us to say things that we're not actually saying.
Voss, the only time I edit you out of context is for the purposes of making a Voss's Closet joke. All the other bullshit you say, and you're going to see it again in the video I'm going to do on you this week, all the shit I say on you is 100% your thoughts, your belief, and shit you actually fucking say. How is you giving the Acolyte a 7 out of 10, Voss, me taking you out of context? You fucking said it. It crawled back up to a 7 from a 6 for you because because OSHA had a period on her lightsaber. That's why. Period saber. You gave a whole point to the Acolyte for a period saber, Voss. But that's just me taking you out of context, of course, right, chat?
We feel a little bit more comfortable having those conversations in a audio only intimate podcast environment. But
intimate. I got to remember not to play clips because there'll be an echo. Apologies for that, chat.
We also understand that like we can't, this is our jobs here at New Rockstars, and we can't spend all of our time talking about this stuff because we are on the clock. And the only way it makes sense to be able to put this out in a podcast format is if we do it this way. As
if we do it in a way where hopefully Mr. Grizzy and Knights of Melvin and those toxic Gatekeepers Alliance people won't find it. But boy, did you fuck up big time, Voss, because I found it.
Through a paid service that you have to sign up for. But it is an experiment, and if it doesn't work out, we don't have to keep doing it, you know. But we do want to try it because we do have some like fun conversations that we think people will be into. John and I are going to talk about what it means to be accused of being a shill and what that even means. You're going to hear Brandon and Zach in future episodes talk about things like.
So if you guys have, questions or thoughts, so you wouldn't be able to see us. And that $5 a month goes to the oxygen that's slowly running out from this room. We need to buzz in oxygen.
Bro, they are in Voss's closet. They are in Voss's closet, and they might be inside of each other as well. I mean, if they can't breathe and they're running. If you're running out of oxygen, you are definitely in Voss's closet. All right, I think we're finally getting into the start of this. Let me catch up on some super chat. Thank you guys, already killing it. Red Jaguar for $2. His favorite movie is Magic Mike. Did he review that? Did he review Magic? If he reviewed, we might have to check that. I might have to check on his channel to see if he reviewed that movie and see what God, I don't even want to know what he said about it. Sure, he loved it. Thank you, Red Jaguar, for the $2. New Son of Earth for member for 1 month. Does Voss really bat for the other team? I mean, I think he does. He's trying to hide it. He has a beard wife. But just listen to the sound of his voice. Listen to the things that he says. Watch my previous videos that I've done on Erik Voss and the new Rockstars, the new Cuckstars. And the clues are there. The hints are there. Again, let me new Son of Earth. Let me pull this up for you real quick. Let me look up. Do I have his channel ready? Yes, I do. All right, let me share this screen for you guys. Let me revisit. Let's revisit quickly, chat, very quickly. Let's revisit his interview with the director of Fantastic Four First Steps, which is not payment, according to him, even though he got 86,000 views on it and made probably, in a 21-minute video, probably made a few $100 on it.
Weekend.
So here he is flirting with the director of Fantastic Four First Steps, and Matt Shackman is like, you'll hear it after he does it. He's like, what the fuck? So here it is, chat. Once again, it was in my video, but here it is for you guys. I mean, just look at this guy. Look when you hit a freeze frame on him. Every time a gay pose. So here you go.
So far, for reasons you'll see in the second half of this video.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes launching your own website a breeze.
All right, now, this is it right here, chat. He's like, hey, Matt. Hey, Matt. All fucking gay and sexual. Listen to this. Here it comes. Let me go back just a tad.
Breeze.
Hi, Matt.
Hello.
So, I was super excited to see the...
Bro, you tell me.
Website a breeze.
Hi, Matt.
Hello.
So,
Hey, man. The clues are there. The clues are definitely there, you guys. I want to see Voss's closet I want to see Voss's closet. I want to see more Voss's closet comments than actual comments on every Erik Voss video from here on out. Little challenge to all of you in the chat. Because he knows where it's coming from. Glitchman for $5. More importantly, they don't want us to see where their hands and fingers are. Good Lord. That's disgusting. While they're babbling about Disney, I'm sure we can all imagine. And I'm sure that the glory hole in the back of Voss's closet is being used as well. I'm sure it's being used. It might be connected to the Los Angeles Lakers locker room. I'm sure that would be Voss's dream come true. If the ass end of Voss's closet went through to the LA Lakers locker room. I'm sure he would absolutely love that. Anytime, man. Anytime. Thank you for being a member. All right. Thank you, Glitchman, for the 5. I think I can play it now because I have the different tab up. I can play this without an echo. So let me just go ahead and do that for you real quick.
Oh, it's blue! It's blue!
Good shit, good shit, good shit, good shit. Narrow Dark for 2. You can turn Voss around, pause. Oh, good Lord. Good fucking Lord. Taking a shot at Voss's gayness. Yeah. Turn around, upside down, deep throat. Voss can do anything in Voss's closet. Found its green clips. Look for my comment later. Oh, Cynical Beaver, did you, man? Bro, thank you for that. I will definitely slide those into the rotation. 100%. 100%. All right, let's get back to Voss's closet here. Now I got to take this down and re-upload or redo the tab. And I remembered to turn audio on this time, you guys, so we're good. All right, Voss's closet. Let's continue.
On the flip side, they also stand a lot to gain with having good relationships with us. And sometimes from us for a long time, you know, how does the media and these big corporations integrate with one another? Obviously, we stand a lot to gain from having a good relationship with these people.
Really? And Voss, how do you maintain a good relationship with Disney? How do you maintain a good relationship with these studios? You shill for them. You ignore the bad and focus on the good. You know, you don't get toxic. You're universally positive every single time. And you use your platform to push their content, and you use your platform to try and help them make money. Energon nailed it. That's called being a shill. Quid pro quo, motherfucker. So basically right there, Vossy, you're admitting you're a shill.
So how does the media and these big corporations integrate with one another? Obviously, we stand a lot to gain from having a good relationship with these people. But on the flip side, they also stand a lot to gain with having good relationships with us.
You see, now would the studios, now chat, let me answer this question for me, chat. Would these studios profit from having a relationship with channels like the Gatekeepers Alliance, or the bigger channels like Nerdrotic, the Geeks and Gamers, Ryan, Critical Drinker, those guys? Like, would the studios profit as much with being friends with those guys as they would being close with the real retards, the new cuck stars, and all these other shills? Absolutely the fuck not. The answer is obvious. It's really, I'm surprised how much of this I missed when going through this originally. Glad we're doing this. But yes, Daniel, only shills get invited. And the only time those guys do get invited is when they know somebody.
And sometimes our relationship is good, and sometimes our relationship is not so good. And my time at New Rockstars, it's kind of waxed and waned depending on where we are as a company and where some of these companies are themselves. So excited to kind of get into it. You guys get to see a peek behind the curtain in terms of like what other outlets also are probably getting access to.
A peek in the closet. Aren't we lucky?
This is obviously just our perspective and our experiences, but I think it will go to show what other people are experiencing as well.
Yeah. So what we're referring to is this word shill. Shill is basically a term used by some of our contrarian detractors in our comments who are...
Voss, you could say my name, bro. You can say my name. Enough with the sneak dissing, Voss. You can say my name, Voss. It's okay. I can handle it.
We're referring to is this word.
And he's talking about you guys as well in the chat. I know you guys go over there and you troll. He sees your guys' trolling. I'm telling you, Voss's closet. I want 100 Voss's closets every video. And spell it differently every time too. Spell it with like 3 S's or 4 S's at the end or something like that, because I want them to ban the term Voss's closet in their comment section. That would be hilarious if that were ever to happen.
Shill. Shill is basically a term used by some of our contrarian detractors in our comments who are accusing us of being paid to write reviews, of being influenced.
That's not, again, chat, that is not what we are. That's not even, this just shows how uninformed this guy is. That's not what we are accusing them of. We're not accusing them of getting a literal paycheck handed to them by a guy dressed like myself with a hood up. Thanks for coming in. But at the end of the day, again, I wouldn't be surprised if that is what's going on. I wouldn't be surprised if off the record they are getting a little something. I mean, we know that they get gift baskets, and he's going to bring up the gift baskets again a little bit later, which we exposed. But again, they do get things. But again, I would not be surprised to find out at all if somebody hands them an envelope with a check on it. Hey, new Rockstars, we'd love to have you back for Spider-Man. We'd love to have you back for Doomsday. Just make sure you give us a fair review on Fantastic Four First Steps.
By studios like Disney or Universal or Warner Brothers by inviting us to early screenings and paying us to write the reviews that we write that are overly positive to create a positive buzz around their movies and TV shows. And
like that doesn't have, guys, you know, every movie that came out this year, chat, Captain America, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Superman, Snow White even. The first reactions, the first people who dropped their social media reactions on all of those movies, overwhelmingly positive, better than expected. And he's here trying to tell us that that's not a thing.
By inviting us to early screenings and paying us to write the reviews that we write that are overly positive to create a positive buzz around their movies and TV shows in order to influence people into going to see it. And when the people who see those movies, they have a more negative opinion of it and realize, oh, was that person being genuine in their review? And we get this accusation a lot. We've been getting it increasingly because
we've been getting it increasingly because of channels like Knights of Melvin and myself and all of you in the chat. You're getting it increasingly because this argument, this claim, it's right in front of us. It's obvious. It's right in front. You can see it. You can see it happening. You saw it over here just a second ago when he was interviewing the director of Fantastic Four First Steps. Do you honestly think, with the knowledge that he has an interview with the director coming up, that he's going to say anything negative about the movie when he has an interview with the director coming up, or if he already had an interview with the director? Is there any chance in hell that he would say anything negative? No, you're going to ignore the bad, focus on the good, just like they always do. Insulting people's intelligence.
In my opinion, there is now a bigger ecosystem of creators on platforms like YouTube and podcasts and TikTok who are not getting invited to screenings and events, and they have a sense of antagonism toward influencers and journalists for getting access to those events.
He thinks that we are upset that we aren't getting invited to these things, and that's why this is how I know that they don't actually watch any of our content. Again, they look at the thumbnail and get how many times have we been pointing this out this year? They look at the thumbnail, they look at the title of the video, and then they whine and cry and they form their own opinion. They don't watch 2 seconds of the video. Once again, he just exposed that that's the deal. He thinks that we are mad because confession chat, I secretly love Disney Star Wars. I secretly love it. I think it's fucking amazing, and I'm just mad that I don't get to go, that I wasn't a part of this photo right here, everyone. That's why I was just mad that I wasn't invited to this. I'm angry that I didn't get to catch a nice hot whiff of Leslie Headland's stank puss. That's why I have my channel, and that's why I do what I do on this channel, according to Erik Voss. Mr. Grizzy exposed, I guess, by Erik Voss broadcasting live from Voss's closet with another man. What a shock. Get the fuck out of here.
And feel like that is unfairly biasing their coverage. And so they've been able to tell their followers, hey, with me, I'm not getting invited to these things. I'm a real one. You can trust me.
Right.
Because I'm on the outside. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to be real with you. And everyone else who's not me is on the payroll. So it's created this lexicon that probably did not exist 10 years ago of accusing media outlets like Variety, Hollywood Reporter, IGN, and now New Rockstar.
Like, Voss, are you trying to come on here and tell us? Are you trying to come on here and tell us that people who go to these things aren't positive in the hopes that they will be invited back next time? Is that honestly what you're coming on here and trying to tell us? I thought it was a funny little rant, man. I thought it was a funny little rant. Exposed.
As we've grown, as being shills. Anytime I say things like, oh, I saw Thunderbolts and it was the best Marvel movie since Avengers Endgame.
That was a real conversation you and I had, by the way,
Yeah.
on our drive home from
On our
the
drive home.
theater.
And I still feel that way.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you're going to ask me a follow-up, what other movies have come out since Avengers Endgame? Basically, I'm saying I
There's
liked
a
it better
Spider-Man,
than
there's a
Spider-Man No Way
Guardians,
Home and Guardians of the
and maybe
Galaxy Volume
Wakanda
3.
Forever, yeah.
And those movies are good, but a little flawed. So I think Thunderbolts cleared that bar. That's not that a controversial thing. But what I said,
Thunderbolts bombed, by the way, at the box office, Voss. But we don't have to talk about that. Moving on.
sounds hyperbolic and superlative in a way that other types of statements that people have accused influencers of being.
First things first, I think we should start this conversation off by saying, to my knowledge, maybe you know something I don't know, we've never been paid by a studio to do a review of a movie.
They weren't paid, chat. They weren't paid. They just, they just got an interview with the director. Voss got to interview the actress, what's her name? Iman Vellani, the actress that plays Miss Marvel, a movie that he defended, by the way, and a movie that he praised in the Marvels, by the way, chat. They only get to interview cast members. They only get gift baskets. They only get invited to events. They only get to meet the cast. They only get to meet the creators. They only get all this fucking access, but they're not paid. They're not paid, chat. And, as with the real rejects, they don't address the interviews with directors and the cast members, just like the real rejects did. But he does address the gift baskets a little bit later in the podcast.
Sometimes we'll get paid by a studio to like show off the bonus features of a DVD.
Yes.
Or
now that's interesting, chat. We don't get paid for reviews, but we get paid to show off the bonus features of a DVD. So there's a loophole. That is a loophole, chat. You're getting paid by the studio, an actual paycheck. According to what he just said, we're not paying you for the positive review. We're just paying you to cover this thing over here, which is completely separate. Listen to this again.
Studio to do a review of a movie. Sometimes we'll get paid by a studio to like show off the bonus features of a DVD.
Yes.
Or, I don't know. That's probably the extent of a
I think that's
relationship
it.
with them.
Now, chat, I understand that I'm not a big shot with millions of subscribers, but I've never been offered payment to show off the bonus features of anything. I don't think that any of our big shot YouTubers that I'm a fan of have been paid to show off the bonus features of a DVD collection or something. Put a pen in that, chat. Stick that in the back of your brain right there. They just admitted that they do get paid by the studio to cover bonus features on DVDs. Straight from the mouth of the new Rockstars. Told you guys there were some gems in here that didn't make the video.
I think there are a grand total of 3 deals we've done with Universal Home Video.
Here we go.
One was for Nosferatu, one was for Jordan Peele's Nope, and it was just for the bonus features on the DVD release. The movie had been out for months and been back out of theaters, and then we just reviewed we did one for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That was with Sony back in 2019.
I wonder how much did they pay you, Voss? You're probably not going to disclose that. I wonder how much they paid him.
Tarantino apparently reviewed himself. That was a crazy one.
Yeah, so it's not like we were reviewing the movie in those videos. We were just saying, hey, and we say in the video, like, they paid us to make this video. You know, we partnered with them. That's really the only time. I feel like every other time we have just been lucky to be included on like an early screening list that they do in the LA area. And we're able to see the movie maybe 10 days early, a week early, sometimes less.
And guess what? Due to that early access, you can upload your non-spoiler review, or even before the embargo, you can upload your basic reaction, and you can upload your non-spoiler review the moment that the review embargo drops. And you can be, you and your channel with 4 million subscribers, you can be the first, one of the first in the top 0.01% of content creators covering this. You could be the first to upload your review, which gives you a huge boost in the algorithm and which gives you a huge boost in ad revenue. Hence, you profit off of the early access you get. But, because I've said this numerous times in just about every video, but again, he doesn't watch the videos. He just looks at the thumbnails and the title.
We are not always on the lists for those, but that's something that like they do as kind of an industry standard for people who write reviews for like Variety or people like New Rockstars. When we're breaking down the movie, sometimes we do a review of the movie, and just to give us time to write it and make it publishable early enough so that when people are making plans for their weekend can decide, hey, do I want to see this opening night? Do I want to see this next week? Do I want to see it at all? That's really it. For years, New Rockstars did.
And we all know that the purpose of their videos are to get as many of their followers to go see the movie as possible, so that the movie makes as much money as possible. 100%.
Didn't even get included on that list. For years, we just had to go see the movie, go buy tickets and see it, and then go. And we still do that anyway. Like if I'm breaking down a movie, I will always buy a ticket for it with my own money.
Yeah.
And then
chat, there's another shill move. He gives money to them. He gives them money anyway to support the cause, right? To do his part, to be a part of the box office that the movie makes. So he gets to see the movie once, sometimes twice ahead of time, and he still gives them money anyway. He gives them his money. What a shock. Real quick, FP 194 for $10. Voss likes to pump gas. Voss likes to get pumped. If what goes on in Voss's closet is to be believed. Thank you, FP. Unfortunately, I can't play the clips, unfortunately, because there's an echo. But thank you for the pchoo. It's yellow. Super chat, man. Thank you. And Glitchman for 2. Never tell your enemies their tactics are working. Erik Voss already making that mistake in this lame-ass podcast.
If I can see the movie early, I'll just see it multiple times. But like I think just getting
multiple times, yeah, you gotta get a good early review out, motherfucker.
I think some people are like, well, you didn't have to pay for your movie ticket. Does that make me a shill? If I didn't have to pay for a movie ticket, the $20 whatever that it would be in LA.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting question. I think there's 2 answers. One is, these companies do that. You get free popcorn when you show up, and
Oh yeah,
you know,
sometimes they'll give you popcorn.
sometimes they trot the cast and crew out onto the stage, and some
Free popcorn, chat. Free popcorn. He's about to fucking fuck that all up all over again. Because it turns out they get more than that, obviously. But free popcorn and free admission. Yeah, free popcorn that costs $15. So $20 movie ticket and free popcorn, which is like $15. There you got 30, $35 right there. Getting to watch Pedro Pascal grope and feel up Vanessa Kirby in front of a live audience. You get to watch that as well. I'm sure he got a little sexual thrill out of that, did Erik Voss.
sometimes there's a DJ playing music there to get you in a state that is like heightened.
And as the Real Rejects said, they also give you alcohol at those events as well in the hopes that you'll be drunk and not realize how bad the movie is. And of course, Erik Voss didn't mention that.
And excited and, you know, more potentially like more set up to have a good time than what the movie offers on face value. More often than not, that's not the case. More often than not, we're going, you know, 2 blocks away to our local movie theater and seeing the movie like anyone else would. So there is like a little bit of difference between those things. I'll say this as someone who has gone to some of these events, at a certain point, it wears off.
Yeah.
You don't really feel the excitement. You know, all of that buzz is there, mostly so that like the influence.
I think I heard in the background, I think they must have knocked something over in Voss's closet. He must have had a suit or something. He knocked over some hangers.
Who are there and making social posts at the premieres have something cool to show off, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember we saw the most recent Planet of the Apes movie and they decked out Hollywood Boulevard and it looked so cool. And then I went in and I saw that movie and I had a lot of things that I didn't love about it, you know?
Yeah.
So I think people, when they, you know,
notice how when they say that they don't like something, they never say like, oh, this movie fucking sucked. I went and saw that movie and it fucking sucked. Notice they never say that. They just say, I saw the movie and yeah, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I kind of liked it. You see how like they're scared to death and they will never come out and say, even for a movie that even they agree is terrible, they will never come out and say this movie fucking sucked or this show fucking sucked. Case in point, The Acolyte is a 7 out of 10, according to Voss. There you go. Yes. Didn't love it. Chat, you already beat me to it. Didn't love it. 7 out of 10, baby. They're fucking cunts.
Try to make this argument against people like us, that is probably the first thing that they would hold up. And if I were to make that argument, I would say the same thing. Like Disney is inviting you or whoever to an event, right? You're not just watching the piece of content. You're going to an event and maybe that colors your opinion of things.
Yeah.
You're getting to meet Dave Filoni and Leslie Headland. You're getting some gift baskets. You're getting a tour of Lucasfilm Studios. You're getting a whiff of Leslie Headland's stank puss. You know, you're getting to stare at Carly King's ass. All that shit.
You know, make a very conscious effort for that not to be the case. Like I said, we've done this enough times where it doesn't feel quite as special. I don't say that as like a complaint or anything like that, but we try to be unbiased. And I think the reason people will still point at us and say shill, and I understand this perspective, is because of our sort of company ethos, which is just to be positive. That's not to say that movies and television shows don't have flaws. We have, I think, gotten better at pointing those things out on channels like The Break Room. When we feel like we can talk about a movie.
You see, the new Rockstars ethos, we're not shills, we're just positive. We see the best in movies. We're just positive people, bro. That's it. We're not shills, we're just positive. Ridiculous. You're positive even when it's terrible.
In all of its facets. But when it comes
seriously, do you know how stupid you guys look when something is terrible and you come out and just say, well, I like this, I like that, you know, Thor Love and Thunder, the Marvel, like Erik Voss, again, the Marvels. Erik Voss is go watch Erik Voss's review of the Marvels. He's just like, you could tell that he knows that it's bad, but he's just searching for nice things to say about it because we're the real Rockstars and we're positive. The new Rockstars.
To a breakdown, realistically, what we're trying to do, what you're trying to do with your writing, what we're trying to do from an editing perspective is like show you all the cool stuff that you might have missed.
We're trying to show you all the cool stuff. That's why we do our little Easter egg videos, which I'm sure the companies that make these movies send a list of all the Easter eggs with timestamps to them so they can point them all out. We're looking for the cool stuff, right? That's why we do those stupid Easter egg videos.
And it's less of our job or less of our interest to nitpick, right? We don't want to be necessarily CinemaSins or other channels like that, but are just there to kind of like point out any nitpicky criticism of a film. That's not really what we're here to do.
Well, and even CinemaSins used to be the
You're right,
standard
and now they have
for
cinema
negativity.
wins and all that.
Yeah, that used to be when you would say, oh, channels that are critical and negative. Now, just in the time that I've worked in YouTube, which has been about 10 years, I have seen a dramatic shift to a mirror world that has spawned.
Brace yourselves, chat, because he's talking about us. Brace yourselves. He's talking about us.
Which has been about 10 years. I have seen a dramatic shift to a mirror world that has spawned where the only valid criticism is to root for things to fail.
You hear it in his voice. You hear how pissed off he is. You hear how triggered Voss is in his voice right now. Listen to how angry he is. We're getting angry gay from Voss right now.
A mirror world that has spawned where the only valid criticism is to root for things to fail.
Yeah.
And to doom something's chances and to assume
that's you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like Knights of Melvin to me. He's rooting for Disney Star Wars to fail. His whole shtick is avenge Star Wars. He wants Disney Star Wars to fail. Because the only way Star Wars will ever be truly great, Voss, is for it to fail. Is for Disney Star Wars to fail and be decanonized. That's why we don't root against these things just to be like counterculture and everything. We root against it because it's the only way. It's the only way, and it's probably never going to happen, unfortunately, but it's the only way that real Star Wars can be fixed. Like that sounds right. That sounded right there like a shot at Knights of Melvin.
Where the only valid criticism is to root for things to fail.
Yeah.
And to doom something's chances and to
Meanwhile, these guys root for things to succeed, root for everything to succeed, by the way, and that's fine. That's fine for them to root for everything to succeed and then get triggered when people don't like it. It's like they say, we go into things wanting it to fail. They go in wanting things to succeed, and then they literally admit that they ignore the bad and focus on the positive in everything. Stephen Johns, 100%. They are literally cheerleaders, 100%.
I will admit, I do have a bias. Like, I have not seen James Gunn's Superman as of this recording. By the time you're listening to this, you may have seen my coverage of Superman. I like James Gunn as a filmmaker. You know, I like the DC character.
Erik Voss loved Superman, by the way. Actually said that Superman was better than Fantastic Four First Steps, by the way.
I'm kind of ambivalent about Warner Brothers as a publicly shared corporation. But I do love films, and I am rooting for this to succeed because my hopes is that we have
you root for it to succeed, and you use your influence to try and make it succeed. And that's why you get invited to these things. Even when it's bad. Even when it's bad, you use your influence. Or even if it's mid, you use your influence to try and make it succeed.
Thriving DCU and a thriving MCU and thriving franchises that have nothing to do
And
with
you
the
know,
comic book.
and you know why, chat? Do you know why Erik Voss wants a thriving MCU and a thriving DCEU and a thriving Disney Star Wars? Do you know why he wants that? Because if those things are thriving, then he's making a lot of money. He's making a lot of money if all of those things are great. If all of those prospects are great, if all of those brands are great, then everybody's going to be watching the new Rockstars jerk off all these projects. They're not going to be watching us like they're watching us right now, which he's obviously, as you heard earlier, triggered by. He wants all these people watching them. And when all of these things are thriving, they're making money. And that's why that is why, chat, they go into these things wanting them to succeed more than any other reason. It's not because they love these things. It's not because they might like these things. They might like these characters. They might even love some of these characters. But for what they are doing, they want all of these things to be they want Disney Star Wars to be where it was in 2015 before The Force Awakens came out. They want the MCU to be where it was when Infinity War came out, when literally Captain Marvel made $1 billion at the box office. That terrible movie. A terrible movie could make $1 billion at the box office. They want DC, the DCEU, to be on par with where the MCU was in Phase 3, because they make a whole lot of money that way, don't you, Voss? Must be nice.
Media and thriving filmmakers like Ryan Coogler, who can make things like Sinners. I want abundance. I want it all. And I want people to have a lot of different options. And I feel like the MCU will get better if the DCU is better. And I feel like I want
And your wallets will get better.
James Gunn to succeed just so he can give them a run for their money. So yeah, I am rooting for Superman to succeed, but I do expect there's going to be stuff in that movie that I don't really like. There's going to be jokes that I think are kind of just like, all right, whatever. There's going to be some VFX that might look kind of goofy. There's going to be some character.
You say that now, Voss, but did you say that in your review? Because there was. Did you say that in your review? Absolutely the fuck not.
Designs that seem kind of goofy. Some shots that just don't agree with me. But that's the case in all movies. At the end of the day, though, I'm rooting for it to succeed. I'm reminded of Ebert and Roper, or Ebert. I could say Ebert and it hurts so much more when we're not, So yeah, they had a reputation of being cantankerous jerks, but at the end of the day, I think like to be a movie critic, to want to do this for your career, to talk about movies, you should be someone who loves movies and wants things to succeed. And I don't like now that some of the biggest influencers on the platforms are people who, when I hear them talk, seem to hate movies.
Yeah.
They seem to hate this industry.
Yeah.
Now, who do you think he's talking about there? Again, chat, he's probably talking about Gary. He's probably talking about Drinker. He's probably talking about Mahler and EFAP and everything. And again, do you honestly think, and us as well, but he's probably, I would assume he's more so talking about those guys, Drinker, Nerdrotic, those guys. Again, they look at the thumbnail and they see that it's making fun. Remember the what was it? The Let's Talk About It thumbnail that people got triggered by Nerdrotic for Blue Beetle. Remember that and how triggered these people got? They see things like that. Ryan Kennel too, absolutely. They see those thumbnails and they see the title, Let's Talk About It. And they see that and it triggers them. And they see all the views that those guys get. Nerdrotic has 25% of the subscribers that Erik Voss has. And he's killing him in views. Killing him. You know why? Because Nerdrotic has integrity. Nerdrotic is telling you the truth. Nerdrotic isn't a phony, a fraud, a fake, an ass kisser, a sellout like Erik Voss and the new Rockstars are. Let's talk about Blue Beetle. I wonder if that got the stream demonetized. Can't make that joke. The worst joke ever told. Let's talk about Blue Beetle. And again, they see the thumbnails and they get triggered. That's why I always try to make my thumbnails very triggering.
And I don't like now that some of the biggest influencers on the platforms are people who
You don't like that? No, Voss, you don't like that they get more views than you. That's what you don't like.
when I hear them talk, seem to hate movies.
Yeah.
They seem to hate this industry.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, I think one of the
By the way, the actors of those movies, the showrunners of those movies, have personally attacked them, as have you shills, in the past as well. So there's that as well. Remember Ewan McGregor? There's no room for racism in this. You can't say anything bad about Reva. There's no room for that in this world. Just because people didn't like the character, they send their actors out to attack these people personally. And then, oh, they're just supposed to sit there and take it. Fuck that. This isn't Voss's closet where we bend over and take things, Voss. We're not like you.
better examples from last year is something like Agatha All Along, where for years people were saying like, this isn't going to be good. Who's asking for this show? Why is Disney making this and not that? Ba 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 ba. And like, it turns out to be one of my favorite shows of last year.
Yeah.
Agatha. So you thought Agatha was better than House of the Dragon? Seriously? Okay. That's an opinion, I guess.
I think there were tremendous performances, great storytelling. Okay, yeah, sure. Maybe it didn't like matter to the connected universe that we care about, but I love TV. And
yeah, it didn't matter. It didn't matter to anything. They're probably never going to pick up on this, but I liked it. You know, I like the feminist witches. I like the gay. Of course, Voss's Closet, right? The gayness. They love the gayness in the show. Absolutely. That's why they love the show, because they're in Voss's Closet.
that was such great television. And so, you know, when
Did you guys love the two teenage boys making out? I'm sure you guys loved that scene. Why don't you guys talk about that?
there are people online, I think, from our perspective, that are lambasting these shows without any real reason other than maybe they don't fit the worldview that these people want.
Oh, I thought you said it's because we're jealous that we're not invited, that we don't get your access, guys. I thought you did. You just said earlier that we're jealous, and you're about to say it again. I thought it was because we're jealous that we're not invited to these things. Now it doesn't fit our political worldview. No, these shows don't fit a majority of people's political worldview. That's why they're failing.
Lambasting these shows without any real reason other than maybe they don't fit the worldview that these people want. And of course, like, there are people who don't share that mindset and still say these things. But, you know, like, is it our job to swing against that? I don't know. Sometimes it feels like when I'm on the break room and a show is getting so heavily criticized from a point of view that I feel like is unfair.
Well, like D.E. Ironheart, like The Last of Us Season 2.
I'll kind of try to talk about it in a more positive light.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, wow, that's a crazy take, chat. When a show is getting criticized more than they feel it should be, they go out of their way to be positive about it. And that's why you get invited. That's why you get the early access. That's why you get invited to these things, because they know that you will do that for them. Take Captain America Brave New World, for example. Erik Voss was, I believe, on the thumbnail for the Shills Defend of Captain America Brave New World. They go out of their way. They go to bat for these shows. They try to counter when a majority of the fandom doesn't like something. They try to use their influence to change their mind and everything. And it's all so these studios and these showrunners will see that and say, hey, these guys are a guaranteed positive review. a guaranteed, and it's unwritten, it's unspoken, an unwritten, unspoken agreement that they will be positive. These studios know that the new Rockstars will be positive for their bad content. And here, we just heard it. When something's bad, they go out of their way to be positive about it. We just heard it.
These things, but you know, like, is it our job to swing against that? I don't know. Sometimes it feels like when I'm on the break room and a show is getting so heavily criticized from a point of view that I feel like is unfair, I'll kind of try to talk about it in a more positive light.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right,
and
it's
it's a
hard to
hard
know.
balance to strike.
It depends on who.
So you're fake. So you're a fraud. So you're full of shit. We know that. We already knew that, but thank you for confirming it.
If it's a break room episode and if you're co-hosting it with like Brandon or Zach or Gina and one of your co-hosts is going really hard against it, naturally you kind of
do.
counterbalance and want to be a bit defensive of it. That's just like being an empathetic human adult. And so one thing that like I want to make very clear is that every studio contact that I have who has ever invited me to an early screening or to a premiere has made it very clear that they do not care if we give something a negative review. And you'll look around at some of the other press and you'll see other people.
Oh, then why don't they invite Nerdrotic? Why don't they invite Critical Drinker? Hell, why don't they invite Star Wars Theory? Why don't they won't even invite him? And he's more positive towards Disney Star Wars than he is negative. Why don't they invite those guys? Why do they just invite you people? Voss, that was the biggest load of shit I've heard tonight from this clown. Biggest load of shit. I need a break. Super chats. John, for $2, man. Thank you again for the 50, and thanks for the 2 2s, one right after the other. Don't be a critic if you just want to hype and praise. Literally what we just heard. Literally what we just heard. These guys are the biggest bullshit artists on the planet. These fucking shills. And John for another 2, man. Thank you. So he only praises because it fits his views. They praise for money. They praise for money. They praise for their viewership. You know, here's another interesting point, John, you just bring up. So when something is getting overly praised, do you go out new Rockstars when something is getting overly praised? Do you then turn around and be a little more negative towards it, or do you just jump into the praise and ride the coattails of that praise yourselves as well? What do you think, chat? Based off of what I've seen, I think it's the second one. They jump in, they ride the wave of positivity when something is universally liked. Anyway, 6 Strings, how you doing? Member for 8 months. Come on out, Voss. Don't make us get our... Yeah, Voss, don't make us get R. Kelly. I'll play it. I got to put the screen down.
Now I'm starting to get angry, so I pull out my gun.
Don't make us. You don't want R. Kelly outside of the closet waiting on you, Voss. You don't want that.
Invited me to an early screening or to a premiere has made it very clear that they do not care if we give something a negative review. And you'll look around at some of the other press and you'll see other people who only ever give negative reviews. They still get invited too. Yeah. Like they understand that that is the game. And
who are you talking about? Again, who on these, the first reactions, who is giving these things negative? Now, obviously there's probably a handful. I think he's talking about websites and journalists. Some of these people, they have to be invited. Some of these people, like you had, they're so big, they have to be invited. But, you know, the new Rockstars, again, the example, I'll cycle back to the example of the Real Rejects who did not get invited to Deadpool and Wolverine. And I think it was because they were a little a little bit too negative on the Marvels, and that's why they came back out, and then apologized for criticizing the Marvels, and then kissed the movie's ass. Because I think they got uninvited to Deadpool and Wolverine because they were a little too critical. Seriously, if the new Rockstars turned around and started giving reviews like Critical Drinker, the new Rockstars, people like us, coverage of this shit, they would be quickly uninvited to all of the access and all of the interviews that they get quickly uninvited. Oh, and speaking of that, Voss, do all of those people get to interview the directors like you do, Voss? I'm pretty sure the answer is no.
And they just want people talking about a movie at all. They want us to be authentic and real about our reactions to it. I think they prefer if we gave a positive.
Authentic and real. He just described, Erik Voss just described himself and his channel as authentic and real. And I have, for the past 3 years, proven that that is not the case.
It's the game. And they just want people talking about a movie at all. They want us to be authentic and real about our reactions to it.
Thank you, sir.
I think they prefer if we gave a positive review, but they've never told us that.
And to be honest, right, like,
again, why don't they invite these? Why don't they invite these other content creators? What, where's why wasn't Nerdrotic invited to the Marvels premiere? Okay, let's see, chat. Let's see who gets invited to Spider-Man. Let's see who gets invited to Doomsday. Let's see. The only one I see regularly invited is Chris Gore.
when you think of like Disney PR, you think of like this huge mechanism of this big corporate entity. And the truth is, like, the people that we're talking to are people, folks who we've met personally and know, and like those people, of course, they would be.
Yeah, just one or two people, just one or two people, right? You don't get to meet any big executives. You don't get to meet a whole lot of people. Just one or two people. So I'm sure. So just Dave Filoni and Leslie Headley. Yeah, sure. Oh, and the director of Fantastic Four: First Steps. I gotta play it. Hang on, guys. I gotta play it. I gotta play it. That was obviously a
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
tell me more sweet little lies. Erik Voss and the new Rockstars, motherfuckers.
So happy if every movie is successful, but like ultimately the fault and flop of a movie does not sit on their shoulders.
No, it doesn't.
So from their perspective,
a movie flopping doesn't sit on their shoulders. Is that what he just said?
like one or two folks who we've met personally and know, and like those people, of course, they would be so happy if every movie is successful, but like ultimately the fault and flop of a movie does not sit on their shoulders.
No, it doesn't.
So from their perspective, yes, of course they want the movies to succeed just like we do. But if we say something negative about the movie, we're not saying anything negative about those people.
No.
And ultimately, like, it's not their responsibility if a movie succeeds or fails. So we do feel safe in like knowing these people, having relationships with them, knowing, I don't want to indicate.
Bro, like if these movies, you get enough of these failures, eventually, they're gonna stop making them. Vossy.
That they don't care, but like their number one interest is like doing their job,
Right.
and making a good movie is not their job.
Right.
Well, they're not gonna be able to do their job if the films keep flopping. Again, why do they invite just you and only people like you and nobody else?
Right. I think a lot of them too are people who are not going to be at that job that long because they move on. Like,
Yeah,
like
it's
I
a very
think people have an
incestuous little-
impression.
yeah.
They have an impression of like Disney publicity as like, these nefarious people. No, they're all very nice people who end up like jumping and working at other places. So it's if a movie has a 80% Rotten Tomatoes score or a 30%, They don't really care that much. So I think that's why we don't get that pressure from them. But I think
I'm gonna go ahead and call bullshit on that one.
some would argue that, like, well, there are certain things where, like, Disney allowed you to go to this premiere and there was like gift bags. I've never gotten a gift bag.
That is bullshit. Bullshit. I'm playing the fucking clip. That is fucking bullshit, Voss. I exposed you for this twice.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Motherfucker.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething.
And you're fucking swallowing massive Smurf loads in the closet.
I think I could probably swallow these massive Smurf loads.
What a fucking liar. I exposed this twice that he did, and he's about to admit, he's about to go back on this and admit that he did get gift baskets at the Acolyte premiere. Oh, we just got stickers, guys. We just got stickers in the gift bag, man.
Some would argue that, like, well, there are certain things where
So
like
full of shit.
Disney allowed you to go to this premiere and there was like gift bags. I've never gotten a gift bag. I've gotten like stuff to where it was like, oh, there's a little button or something like that. But some people said even that button amounts.
He got a button, chat. He got a button to put. He got a pin or a button to put on his shirt. You guys, that's all he gets. That's all. That's all that was in these gift bags that were like this big, stickers and buttons, bro. Fucking liar.
To a bribe.
Hey.
I think the biggest example of this, and I want to talk about it, is what happened with the Acolyte. So,
All right, here we go, chat. You ready? Delving back into the Acolyte. Here we go. Let's continue. Let's continue the cope session.
Or is the Acolyte a controversial show for a number of reasons? But for the Acolyte,
yeah, like like the showrunners and the actors attacking the fans, and people like yourself trying to cancel YouTubers. Yeah, but we don't have to talk about that once again.
the people at Lucasfilm identified a small group of journalists and creators. I was one of them. Our friends from Star Wars Explained.
Right here, chat.
Let's see, small group. So Star Wars The Acolyte, a controversial show for a number of reasons. But for The Acolyte, the people at Lucasfilm identified a small group of journalists and creators. I was one of them. Our friends from Star Wars Explained, Alex and Molly were there. Let's see, who else was there? Carly, who's a Star Wars influencer who does some really cool lightsaber stunt choreography.
Voss, chat. Voss is a fan of Carly King and her lightsaber videos. I'm sure he loves the one with Slave Leia. Hawk Tua, Carly King. Voss is a fan. Voss is a fan of Hawk Tua, Carly King. What a shock. Wow. Hawk Tua, Carly King, by the way, who got destroyed on Darth Melvin's channel yesterday as well, right before I uploaded my video. Be sure to go check that one out.
Then Molly were there. Let's see, who else was there? Carly, who's a Star Wars influencer who does some really cool lightsaber stunt choreography. Yeah, there's like a small group of us who were invited to go see episodes 1 and 2, or at least just episode 1 of Acolyte. We got to do a roundtable interview with Leslie Headland.
Which is not payment. This is not everything, chat, he's describing right now. This is not payment. This is not payment.
Meet Dave Filoni. We took a picture, and then we walked around the Disney lot, and that was really it. They sent us home with a little gift bag that included like a cookie that someone in the marketing team made that looked like that looked.
Was it Leslie Headland's dyke wife made the cookies?
looked like a character from the show, a little cup of ramen noodles that had like some custom alien text on it, and then like a little lightsaber toy that was not like the super nice lightsabers
No,
that
it
you
wasn't
get
one of those
at Galaxy's
$200,
Edge. It was just
He's literally listing everything that they were given for free. Probably at least $100 worth of merchandise. Probably $200 worth of merchandise. But we're not paid, you guys. We're not paid. You got to spend a day at Lucasfilm Studios, which I imagine is pretty expensive for the general public. You got to go there for free.
it's like a little
Right.
kid toy one. And that was it. I still was very clear in my thoughts on the Acolyte, on the Break Room, and on New Rockstars, and especially the way that season was structured. And overall, I thought it was fine and had some really great moments, but
You gave it a 7 out of 10, Voss.
it was not that great of a show. And I said that based off of
Oh, it was not that great of a show. It was not the Acolyte was not that great of a show. 7 out of 10. Where have we seen that before? Oh, that's right. The real rejects, the real retards. Godzilla and Kong. I did not like that movie. We were very negative on our review. 7 out of 10. Shazam, Battle Gods or Battle of Gods, whatever. We really didn't like that movie, man. We really didn't like that movie. 6.8 out of 10. These guys are such fucking frauds, man.
it's poor performance on Disney Plus. It probably deserved to get canceled because it wasn't getting good numbers.
Wow, the Acolyte deserved to get canceled. 7 out of 10. I don't think Voss, I don't think a 7 out of 10 show, if it were legitimately a 7 out of 10 show, I don't think it would have gotten canceled, bro. If it were a 7 out of 10, like you said it was.
It was an expensive show to do, and it was not really clear what they were creatively trying to achieve with a High Republic show that was
They made a lightsaber had a period for you, and you gave it an extra point for that, man.
at the end of the High Republic show that was more connected to Phantom Menace than it was with what is some really cool storytelling in the High Republic era in fiction. So
Erik Voss is a fan of the High Republic. He just admitted.
but because it was the Acolyte, because I didn't appropriately trash it, I was accused of being a shill.
Well,
because
No, Voss, you were accused of being a shill because of this right here. This is why you were accused of being a shill, Voss. Nobody's saying that you have to come out, and I'm not saying that you have to go out and root for the show to fail for us not to call you a shill. We're calling you a shill because of this right here. Voss, this is why you were called a shill. So again, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies, Erik Voss.
But because it was the Acolyte, because I didn't appropriately trash it, I was accused of being a shill.
Well,
because the only proper way to talk about the Acolyte on YouTube in that summer was to hate it every step of the way.
Right.
And
Erik Voss, by the way, when he got triggered, I mean, what did Erik Voss say when the Acolyte got canceled? If you're celebrating, go fuck yourself or fuck off. #triggered. So quite the little flip-flop from see now that it's a year later, it's safe for him to come out and say, yeah, the show really wasn't all that good. Yeah, the show kind of sucked. It deserved to get canceled. Now, a year later, when Disney Lucasfilm themselves basically admitted that by canceling it, now it's safe for him to come out and say that the Acolyte fucking sucked. Again, total fraud. Fake channel. Total fucking fraud completely. Sir Chi for $2. Who is worse, Josh, Eric, or Emergency Awesome #fail? I'm going to go Erik Voss. I'm going to definitely go Erik Voss. Neither of them have gotten a full stream. And neither of them are in the closet at least as far as I know. Maybe Joshy is. I don't know. Maybe Joshy has said some fucked up shit in the past. But I'm going to go Erik Voss at the end of the day. And Fiend with another 5 gifted memberships, man. Let me get Fiend a let's go for that. Fucking A, man.
Oh my gosh! Let's go! Fire!
Thank you, Fiend, for another 5 gifted memberships, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Got a big members only stream tomorrow, guys, on Soy Gendaroo getting triggered by the video I did on him yesterday. We're going to break that down in full tomorrow on the members only stream. If you do happen to miss that, though, don't worry. We're going to discuss it again on Wednesday because I think that will be worthy of a Top Shill of the Week nomination. Thank you, Fiend. John Getz for 5. I didn't get anything. Okay, I got something, but it was just this. Okay, I got these other things and social media photos with famous peoples, but yeah, fucking stop. How many times has his story changed throughout the entirety of this podcast episode? I think his story's changed like 3 or 4 times at this point.
Everything about it, and to yell at Kathleen Kennedy about it, and to yell at Leslie Headland about it, and to say as many negative things you could about Leslie Headland, and anything short of that, you were called a shill.
I'll say this too, specifically about the Acolyte. This is where I think our job, for me as like a white guy, right? Like,
here we go. As a white presenting person, I feel this way. This is the I don't want to get canceled statement.
Shill.
I'll say this too, specifically about the Acolyte.
This is John Acosta, whatever, saying this, right? I wonder, is he related to Jim Acosta over at CNN chat? This is Johnny Boy here saying this. I wonder if he's related to Jim Acosta. #braces. Let's hear what Johnny has to say.
I think our job, for me as like a white guy, right? Like a
white guy that, give us the full story, Josh. A white guy that's never gotten any in his entire life. That's why you're in Voss's closet. But go ahead, Josh, as a white guy.
The discourse around Acolyte was both, in my opinion, sexist and racist.
Who was being sexist and racist, Joshy? Please, I would love to know. As a white presenting person and as a fellow white myself, I cry and regret that. I regret that I was born this way every day. As a fellow white myself, Josh, or John, whatever the fuck your name is, guy in Voss's closet. Why who was saying that, and why is that? Why are we sexist and racist? Please tell us.
The discourse around Acolyte was both, in my opinion, sexist and racist. But the show also wasn't that good. And it's hard to
7 out of 10 though. It wasn't that good. 7 out of 10. Definitely not below a 7 out of 10.
have legitimate criticisms about a show.
You see, here we go, chat. Another thing that I've said in the past, these guys are so scared as well of being lumped in with content creators like myself and the Gatekeepers Alliance and several others. They're so scared of being lumped in with us that they're afraid to criticize shit because they're afraid of triggering the snowflake pussies in their audience. Sad world. It'd be so sad.
But the show also wasn't that good. And it's hard to have legitimate criticisms about a show, but not want to wade into the water of the discourse that I think is truly unfair and borderline disgusting.
Yeah.
So that is where.
Yeah. And you know what's even worse, Josh, whatever the fuck your name is, Johnny. You know what makes it even worse? The fact that they get a fuck ton more views than you guys do. I've done videos on the same subject matters as the new Rockstars with 4 million plus subscribers. I've done videos at around the same time and on the same subject, and I've gotten more views than them on occasion at times. So if that doesn't tell you where everyone's mindset is at the moment, there you have it. The numbers, the analytics speak for themselves. And again, look at Erik Voss's numbers compared to Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic, who have a quarter of the subscribers as he does. And look at their views compared to his. It's like those guys pull 1 million views just about every video they do.
It becomes really challenging to do this job is to like
Because they're genuine and they're not sellouts like you, Bossy.
have criticism and talk critically about a show. Most recently, I think with The Last of Us, I was on the break room doing an episode and talking about how I thought, Bella Ramsey was a great choice for season 1, but maybe that they were not the best Ellie for season 2. And
Oh, God. Did he dare go on and say that? Did he trigger the new Rockstars audience by saying that Bella Ramsey was a bad choice for The Last of Us season 2? Did the cancel mob come for you, sir, after you said that?
talking about how I thought, Bella Ramsey was a great choice for season 1, but maybe that they were not the best Ellie for season 2. And I know that doesn't really make that much sense, but the character's so different between these two seasons. And I thought they did a great job in season 1. But I thought
at least he got the pronouns right. Yep, Jake, he got the pronouns right. Good shit, John, whatever the fuck. I don't even remember this fucker's name or care. Good shit, John. You got the pronouns right. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Now, I know how hard, well, I mean, I don't care enough to remember, but it's fun to try and remember. And I always seem to forget. Not that I care.
Too, and I know that doesn't really make that much sense, but the character's so different between these two seasons, and I thought they did a great job in season 1.
Mental illness confirmed.
But I thought the writing is really what let that character down in season 2.
Yeah.
And I had people in the comments say things like, say what you really mean.
The Dyke see, the mob's coming for him, chat. The mob's coming for him. But I'm sure the Dyke out sessions every other episode, those weren't too those really weren't all that appealing to the audience as well. The woke storytelling, John, I'm sure that didn't go for it all as well. But anyway, back to the triggering of their own audience by saying that Bella Ramsey was a bad casting for The Last of Us season 2.
1. But I thought the writing is really what let that character down in season 2.
Yeah.
And I had people in the comments say things like, say what you really mean, blah, 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 wanting me to like trash Bella Ramsey. And I just didn't think that was a fair take. And so, you have people online even like criticizing your criticisms because they want you to be a certain type of person.
Right. And that's what it comes down to is like,
they want you to tell the truth. They want you to say what everybody on the internet is thinking. Bella Ramsey sucks as Ellie, and the show is a fucking woke abomination, and that's why the show died in season 2. And they're probably going to rush an ending for last I heard about The Last of Us is that they're going to rush an ending for season. They're going to finish the show in season 3, and that's why Neil Druckmann got the fuck out of there. Oh wait, no, he wants to go work on that intergalactic video game. I can't wait to cover that intergalactic video game, Neil Druckmann's next project. That's going to be a fun one to root against and hope that it fails, right, chat?
the enemy to these people is nuance. The enemy is critical thought.
Yeah.
And if you express nuance or critical thought, then you are part of their problem because they don't want to have a conversation. They want you to speak exactly as they are and to conform to a negative world.
You speak exactly how the studios and the showrunners want you to speak. You are the ones who lack critical thought. You are the ones who are bought and paid for by these studios, Voss, and your opinions and critical thinking and go in the direction of that are based solely upon what will make those studios happy. So you get invited back.
View, an angry worldview, a bitter worldview, a suspicious, paranoid worldview. And they view that maybe because we live in LA, that biases us. But what I'm saying is that, I'm sorry, my friend, You are where you are, and you're using words like shill because you've been
Here we go, chat. Listen up, chat. Listen up, chat, because he's talking to you right here. He's talking to you, chat, and he's talking to me, but he's talking to you.
that biases us. But what I'm saying is that I'm sorry, my friend. You are where you are, and you're using words like shill because you've been programmed by people who, if they were given the opportunity,
Chat, you are being programmed, according to Erik Voss, you are being programmed by me. You're being programmed by all the content creators that you watch to think a certain way, and your thoughts are not your own. He's basically saying that you guys in the chat, he's basically calling you a bunch of retards in the chat. Not that because he's scared to death to use language like that, but that's what he's saying about all of you. Look at your own audience, Voss. I'll take all of you. I'll take all of you in the chat over the fucking freaks in Voss's live streams and in his comments. Oh, we want you to like things that we like. The only reason they watch them is because they like things that they like. You are where you are. And here we go. This is the me. I'm just mad because I don't get invited to things.
saying is that I'm sorry, my friend. You are where you are, and you're using words like shill because you've been programmed by people who, if they were given the opportunity to go to a premiere from Disney, would drop their hat and go to it immediately. And the only reason they're using words like shill.
Hell yeah, chat. You guys know I definitely would. I would, but not for the reason Voss is thinking. I would go to cause a major disruption. I would go to boo. I would go to, throw something at somebody. I would go to call Pedro. I would go to the Mando Grogu premiere to call Pedro Pascal Pedro Epstein or something like that. Photoshop a picture of Pedro Pascal and Jeffrey Epstein together and then show it to him and ask him to sign it. That's what I would do if I were ever given the privilege of going to one of these screenings. And also, I would call Erik Voss a shill to his face. And hopefully a camera would be on when I did that.
And the opportunity to go to a premiere from Disney would drop their hat and go to it immediately. And the only reason
Darth Melvin, Knights of Melvin would would rip his mask off and go to he would do the face reveal and go to a screening and do a vlog the entire time. 100%. He would drop his whole gimmick to go to one of these events. Star Wars Marvel Purist would change his name to Star Wars Marvel Fanboy for an invitation to one of these press screenings, right? Wouldn't you? Perfect time to jump in here, Purist. Perfect time to jump in. We're just listening how you and me and the Gatekeepers Alliance, how we're all jealous that we don't get invited to these things.
If they were given the opportunity to go to a premiere from Disney, would drop their hat and go to it immediately. And the only reason they're using words like shill is because honestly, they're jealous that they don't get invited to these events.
Yeah. And I just sort of talked these events down a couple minutes ago, but like telling 14-year-old me that I would be getting to go to premieres of Marvel movies, it is a very cool experience. And it's
get the fuck out of here. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Fuck that shit. I don't want to listen to this fucking fanboy bullshit.
I'll have to find new jobs. But we can do this job without the access. We've done it before. I'm sure.
Yeah, sure you can. You Voss, you might do the job without the access, but you're not going to make the money, Voss, without the access. You're not going to make the dollar bill, y'all, without the access, motherfucker. So don't feed me that bullshit.
In the future, we'll do it again. There was a little bit of a blip last year with Disney when they had some folks leave and new people were coming in, and we were in this like limbo state. We still got all the breakdowns out. We did all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, like what matters to us is the trust of our audience.
And honestly,
The trust of their audience. Bro, you are you guys are the most untrustworthy content creators possibly on the platform.
what matters is, yes, the trust and like our own balance of work here.
Okay, I need a break from these guys. Chat, you guys continue to kill it. Thank you so much, John. Oh, I already read this one. Thanks again for the 5, John. Glitchman for 2. Bella Ramsey is a woman, as is Louise Julie. In common sense, real world, and not in fantasy land, Glitchman, you are correct. Soy Gendaroo, though, might disagree with you. John gets for another 5. Sorry on behalf of all Johns for Roca, Campia, and Acosta. As a white guy, black people and women can be cringe just as much as us. Bella is she. By the way, John, I accept your apology. And we will be seeing a little bit of that, John Roca, on Wednesday for another meltdown. Gonna be close. It's gonna be Roca versus Rejects again. Is Roca gonna win for another meltdown, or are the Rejects gonna win for Grizzy derangement? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Tune in Wednesday. Real Darth Ghostface for 5. Only 2 genders. Only 2 genders. There are no more, no less. A male and a female. That is what Master Yoda would say. That is what Master Yoda would say. Maybe I should do a little AI fun and editing and have him say that. And maybe post it on X in these shills replies. Maybe to Louise Julie. Thank you, Real Darth Ghostface. Red Jaguar for 5. Chat, which one is a better movie, or the better movie? Superman 2025 or Captain America, the First Avenger? This is a poll from YouTube. Interesting. What do you think, chat? What's better, Captain America, First Avenger, the first Captain America movie, or Superman 2025? I'm going to go Captain America, First Avenger. What do you guys think? Star Wars Marvel purist, gotta love the whites. I'm not loving these 2 whites that we're listening to. I'm not loving these 2 whites currently. Most of chat is the Marvels. Obviously, I'm going to have to agree with Isaac here. I'm going to have to go with him. But most of the people are saying Cap. I thought the First Avenger was it's not my favorite Marvel movie, but I kind of like it. At the end of the day, I think it's a thumbs up movie. Good shit, you guys. Thank you again for all the support tonight. And Dalton Fury gifted another 5. Dude, you guys are killing it tonight with the gifted memberships, man. Thank you all so much. Dalton's Fury gifted 5 Mr. Grizzy motherfucking memberships. How have I not played? How have I not played Let's Go Lesbians yet?
Let's go, lesbians. Let's go, lesbians.
Oh, fuck. Let's go.
Speaking of Louise Julie.
Dumb cunt.
I am winning. Continuously winning.
Good Lord. All right. Dalton's Fury, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. And let's finish this up. How much time do we got? We got 8 minutes, about 8 minutes left. We can do this
within our company and in our workflow and avoiding burnout whenever we can. And to me, the greatest value of getting invited to a press screening isn't like, I get to go to the red carpet and maybe take a selfie with Sebastian Stan. No, I get severe anxiety going to those events. I'd much rather go.
You get anxiety, Voss, because you want to take him into Voss's closet. That's why you get anxiety, fucking freak.
The greatest value of getting invited to a press screening isn't like, I get to go to the red carpet and maybe take a selfie with Sebastian Stan. No, I get severe anxiety going to those events. I'd much rather go to like a small
Oh, does he chat? Do you think he pulls a Pedro Pascal, starts groping women whenever he gets anxious? Yeah, anxiety like Pedro. Maybe we should fix. Maybe Erik Voss needs to get with Pedro. I think they might be a good match. Pedro's closet, Voss's closet might need to happen. There you go. Match made in heaven. Both have probably been to Epstein Island.
Smallest theater at AMC Burbank and just go watch the movie there, because I just want to be able to see the movie early so that we have time to write an in-depth breakdown, and I can have a second opportunity to see the movie before the weekend so that I can write a better breakdown.
Yeah.
And make a bunch of money off of your review that drops as soon as the review embargo lifts, Voss. Don't forget that. Make a great review, good review, and drop it as soon as the embargo lifts so you can make a bunch of that money.
Or I can tell our editors, hey, this shot from the trailer actually happens at the beginning of the movie. So we can start to edit our stuff and get it out on release day, and we don't have to have
Does he not realize the advantage that gives him over 99.9% of other content creators that are going to be covering this shit on YouTube? Does he not understand that? Does he not understand that that is a benefit? Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies.
like an insane Friday and Saturday like we used to, and we'd all be stressed out on a Friday and Saturday. That's the number one benefit. It's just being able to see it early. Yeah. I'd pay for it. I don't care about whether
Well, Voss, you do pay for it. You go see the movie early, and you admitted earlier, and then you go and you pay to go see the movie again just to give them your money because you're that much of a kiss ass, motherfucker.
Yeah, and will in the future, right? Like I remember we are not on the Sony, or maybe we are now, but at the time, not on the Sony distro list. So Spider-Man No Way Home was a really stressful one.
Oh God, chat. They didn't get early access to Spider-Man No Way Home. Oh God, chat. Oh no. What a terrible, what a horrible inconvenience. But don't worry, they're getting invited to Brand New Day. God forbid you didn't get to see the movie early.
For us, huge, massive movie. Disney is not handling the press invites, so we don't have access.
Yeah.
I remember having to go.
Disney shills, baby. Disney shills confirmed.
Go to, Hollywood at 2 p.m. on a Thursday to see it at the earliest available time that I could so that I could get back and start editing. That's inconvenient.
Yeah.
This is a really difficult day.
Yeah, that is inconvenient, isn't it, Voss, when you have to do it the way that all of us have to do it, right? The normal people, the average Joe, everybody else. It sucks, doesn't it, when you don't get your VIP status at these events.
So you're right. Like I share your opinion. They oftentimes do these premieres at the El Capitan in Hollywood, and it's kind of a pain to get down there, and you have to leave work early, and this, that, and the other thing. And again, this is not a complaint, but half the time they're also just doing it at the AMC Burbank, which is almost
has with the administration that they're covering. That's just the way the game has always been played since the 1920s, and it's because this, unlike the White House, the art of film and the movie industry is not something that will always exist. This will transform at some point, and we just want to try to keep this going as long as we can. So at the end of the day, everyone in the entertainment industry who does this for a living loves movies. I'm venturing to say most of us love movies, love television, and we love talking about it, and we want to see these shows succeed so that we have stuff to talk about.
And so you can make a bunch of money, Voss. Don't forget that.
Because this is our passion. That does not equal shilldom. That does not make you a shill. And what you think...
He's triggered again, chat. He's triggered again.
If you're using the word shill, what you think is existing, that does not exist.
Oh, yeah.
There are some overlap gray.
I have 3 years, chat. 3 years worth of content between this channel and Mr. Grizzly Live. 3 years worth of content proving what he just said is complete bullshit.
Areas where there are experience.
And Knights of Melvin has I believe, 5 years of content on his channel proving what Erik Voss just said is bullshit. Star Wars Marvel Purist has shit on his channel. OG Star Wars has shit on her channel. And so does United Spacers. And the Spacing, his new channel, The Spacing, has shit proving what Erik Voss just said is complete fabrication and it's complete bullshit.
Experiences, maybe with like Disney parks, Disney experiences, where sometimes people are, paid to go and review things. But I think some of the best parks influencers who I love are very open and transparent about what they are getting for free, and they're just as critical, and they'll go back and pay.
Voss, you changed your story 4 times on what you get for free from these people. Oh, and I'm getting hiccups, God damn it.
To go review the parks. And I think that transactional relationship is not what you think it is. So I reject the notion that we are shills. However, I understand that.
All right, chat. Shillvengers assemble, chat. You ready? Shillvengers assemble.
That transactional relationship is not what you think it is. So I reject the notion that we are shills. However, I understand that those accusations are going to keep coming. So Brandon actually proposed something that I think is a wonderful idea, to assemble what Brandon coined as the coalition of the shilling.
Whoa. This is news to me.
And unite with all other influencers who are accused, like the Rockstars is, of being shills. And just have a meeting of the minds, our Marvel YouTube Illuminati, and just sit down and talk about this, because I want to broaden this conversation.
Now, chat, what do you think they're going to talk about? What do you think they're going to talk about? I think this might have already happened. I think that this might have already happened. The shit that they've been saying, especially this past weekend, on the video that he did today, taking another sneak diss at me, and I'll explain that more on Wednesday. But I think this meeting might have already happened. I think the fucking she-jecks, the real she-jecks, were involved. I think Soy was there. I think Crybaby Gregory was there. I think a lot of these. I think that this might have already happened. And what do you think they're going to talk about? You're telling me like Roxy or somebody's not going to bring up the idea of let's just all use our channels and ram 3 false copyright strikes through on these people, and let's get their channels taken down. It would not shock me at all if that's being discussed. You know that when it gets to the point, because these people, they take themselves so seriously. They take themselves so fucking seriously, you guys. They can't stand having anyone come on this platform and delegitimize them, call them shills, call them inauthentic, call them frauds and phonies and sellouts. They're bought and paid for by the student. They can't take it. And what lengths are they going to go to try and stop that from happening? Again, the same thing happens. There are channels like mine that target, the real rejects, or not the real rejects, sorry. There are channels like mine that target, Nerdrotic and Drinker and cry about those guys all the time. And some even target me and the Gatekeepers Alliance. They're not doing as well, but those channels exist. Like, how stupid would we look if we got together and were like trying to take those channels down in some way? Make us look like a bunch of dumb pussies. But that's exactly what Erik Voss and all these people are. And I wouldn't be shocked. I was half expecting a false copyright strike today, to be perfectly honest with you guys. And if it happens, I got my attorney, I got my lawyer, Shakur Nose Nostrilson. My attorney, Shakur Nose Nostrilson, he'll be on the case, man. He'll be on the case if that ever does happen.
I think Disney will pay for the lunch that we have when we're doing this.
Disney will cover the airfare.
Yeah.
Disney will put us up. Yes.
And you know what, too?
I think it's already happened, by the way, chat. That right there. They've already paid you.
And maybe the folks out there that do have more of a negative slant will disagree with me here. I think it's easier to be negative.
I think it is too.
I think it's a lot easier. We can sit here and judge and poke.
It's easier to be negative. Yeah, sitting in front of chat, sitting in front of on your couch and recording yourself doing fake reactions. That's very difficult. And being a cheerleader, that's very, very difficult.
And prod about all of the stuff that we have that we complain about and all that kind of stuff, and then go home and that's simple, right? But I do think it takes a little bit more thought, essentially, just to try to look at a piece of media through the lens of celebration.
Yeah. So allow me to translate, chat. We are more intelligent than the people who are negative. He's basically saying that they are more intelligent than we are, is what they're trying to say there. Yeah, sure. Obviously, as we saw in this podcast that we've been listening to for the past 2 hours.
Yeah. Or to celebrate the artistry, I think nuance requires critical thought.
Yeah.
Critical thought is harder
There's a better way
than just saying that you hated something or something looks like trash. Whenever
Voss, all I do on my channel is prove how unintelligent you and the rest of these shills are. That's all I do on my channel. And we tell a few jokes as well in the meantime. We're also a lot funnier than you guys. You guys think you're hilarious, but no, we are the funny ones. We are the entertaining ones. That's why we get more views than you. That's why Nerdrotic and Drinker get 4 or 5 times the views you get, despite you being 4 or 5 times as big a channel as they are.
someone says it looks bad or it looks like trash, I want to say what specifically about it looks bad.
And
to you?
we did that, right?
Use your verbs. Use your.
Voss, if you watch the videos and just didn't look at their thumbnails, you would hear why they say that it looks bad, it looks terrible, and it sucks. All right, let's wrap this up. I think this is just more crybaby shit.
Your adjectives.
Just had this long conversation last week about mention how I think Superman looks a little funky when it comes to these flight shots.
Yeah, well,
you
you
not
didn't say that
we're
in your
talking
review.
about. I'm certain, right?
Make a film, and then we can talk. You know.
Okay, I think that is it, chat. I think we made it. It is time for us to finally get some fresh air and leave Voss's closet. Hopefully for a while. Hopefully it's a while before we have to go back in there, you guys.